Hello.
How are you?
Hi. Thank you for taking my call. I'm doing so good. This is
That,
surreal right now.
now tell me why you're doing so well.
Well, I'm talking to you. This is crazy for me.
Oh, well, I'm I'm glad that's helpful. So,
Wow, seriously, I listen to your talk show every single day. So this is whoa.
well, I'm glad. Now, how did you find it? Did you just stumble across it?
I follow your emails, so I get your emails every morning. And then I was
Oh,
looking
cool.
up through YouTube. I was looking up some videos by you, and it just popped up. And so last week I streamed 25 hours of you.
What?
I'm not
That's
kidding. It was 25 hours in 1 week.
that's some pandemic binge watching, right? Well,
Well, it's
I
when I'm
hope you
cooking and
found
cleaning and stuff. So
I hope you found something helpful in there. So, if you got a question,
I definitely have.
tell,
Yes,
tell me what I can
I
help you.
do. And so, okay, so my question is, when do I let friends go and when do I try to work through it? Because I don't want to force friendships, but I want long lasting friendships. So, a little bit of background on that is so I have a best friend, and well, I had a best friend. And about 8 months ago, actually about a year ago, she said that she needed space from all her relationships. Not just me, she was going through some depression and needed complete space. And so I respected that and let her have her space. And
How
within the
long,
last 3 months,
Lily? How long had you been friends?
over 2 years.
Okay.
So a few months ago, she reached out just saying, "Hey, how's it going?" And like a few text messages. And every once in a while, I get a text message saying like, "I read this article and I thought about you," and just really small talk. And so my question is, where is it my job to say, "Hey, what happened over that last 8 months where I heard nothing," and try to re-engage in the relationship deeper? And where is that forcing her to be at a level of friendship that she's not comfortable with? Because 8 months ago, she said she didn't want a close relationship with anybody. Does
Yeah.
that make sense? Like when friends
Yeah.
pull away, I've had this happen a few times where friends just pull away and then I want them to stay, but they're obviously pulling away and I don't know where it is forcing them to stay if I speak up and say, "Hey, I'm noticing you're pulling away." And where is it just allowing them to be who they are and be in the seasons that they are?
And there's no indication if this was specific in any unique way to you and y'all's relationship versus all of her
Well,
relationship.
yeah, so she was going through her childhood trauma was coming up, and she was voicing that a lot to me. So
Her
she
what?
left the
Her
church
wait a minute.
that she was
Her
in,
her what was coming up?
her childhood trauma. So her childhood
Okay.
trauma. So there was a lot of projection, and she was aware of it, that she was projecting her trauma on her
But
relationships
but
around her.
but what the thing I'm asking is, was it any different with you? Because you said that this happened a few times. It,
Oh, not with her. So it's happened a few times with relationships
no, I
where
understand
they
that,
pull away.
but right, but you're the
Mhm.
common denominator, right? And so
Oh, that's painful.
no, wait,
Yeah,
no. That
yeah,
doesn't
that's
have to be it doesn't have to be a negative thing at all. In fact, it could be for very good
okay.
reasons, right? I mean,
Oh, okay.
I'll give you one example. It could be a good reason. There may be something empathic in you. Okay, I don't know.
Mm.
There may be something
Hmm.
empathic in you that pulls for deep with people, and
Yes,
you might attract
that,
certain kinds of
yes,
people that
that is
that
me.
that want to be like known at this deeper level, but they never have been, and
Yes.
then they start to get close, and then because they never have been, now they get
Wow.
scared, and so
Wow.
it could
You're
be a common
speaking like,
denominator. It could be a common denominator.
wow.
I don't
Wow,
know.
wow, wow. You're seriously speaking. No, you're speaking. That is literally me. Like I've done a lot of my own work. And so I bring up childhood, inner child work a lot, not intentionally just discussing mine. And I draw people in who want to go there. And then they
Okay,
get freaked out and scared because their wounds come out and then they pull away.
that may be what it is too. So all I'm asking is, it may not be all of their relationships equally, because not everybody's the same. It may be that this is a
Yeah.
common dynamic that you experience with people that are drawn into that. So
Yeah.
to answer your question, when's it your responsibility to do this or that?
Yeah.
One of the first things I would do is, before you do that, I would sit down and I would say, now, when I look back on this relationship, the time we spent together, how we spent the time, if I look at it with the lenses, like getting some distance on it, is what was happening there, was it might have been good for a moment or a season for particular reasons, but is that something really that would be good long term that I want to go back and try to recapture and get? Or is it something that might have been a seasonal kind of, at that juncture when we crossed in our paths at that time of life, we kind of got from each other where we were and what we needed. And really that it's like Ecclesiastes 3 says, everything has its season. And it says sometimes there's a time to embrace and another time to shun from embracing. Okay? And there are really, when you talk about a path of a lifetime, we're going to have a lot of different friends. And I believe in long-term relationships more than anything else, right? Besides God, same thing, long-term relationship. But they're kind of like, they're concentric circles of long-term relationships. Some are closer than others. And there are some, there's concentric circles of longevity. Because where we were at a certain juncture in time, our maturity level, what we needed, where they were, this, that, and the other, it matched, but it wasn't meant to be BFF. Isn't that best friends forever?
Yeah, that is.
So I would want you to just say, when I look back, that was probably really, really good. That was really important. But understanding her and her capacities and what she wants, and I don't know, do I really want to go back and invest again? And just be sure that is all. Now, the second thing about it is, and this would be the hard work, and I'm not trying to hurt you here. We all have to do this. But you said, "Oh, that hurts." But I would ask, was there anything about where I was or how I was relating to her that may have been something that she needed to pull away from, and she wasn't really honest enough or strong enough to be honest enough? There was something I would like to hear, or that maybe we should talk about. And then thirdly, it may be that you sit down and you just say, gosh, I hadn't heard from you a while. I know you said you had to take some time away, and sounds like you have. It's good to hear from you again. I'd love to have lunch and just kind of find out where you are. And just go on a listening lunch. No agenda. I'm not going to go deciding, we're going to be best friends or never talk again. Just like to catch up, see where it goes. So I wouldn't struggle with the big question of, is it my responsibility or all that kind of stuff. I would ask myself, what do I really want out of this relationship? And if I'm going to go deeper and invest my time, there needs to be a good reason. And one of the things I really think is important, and unfortunately I got to hop off after this, Lily, is that I don't believe that all relationships are designed or supposed to be equal in depth, or there's just so many reasons for that. I think there are some relationships that are deeper. Different people have different capacities for going deeper. And there's just, And I think that what we have to do in our lives is, our time and our energy that we're going to pour into relationships. I think we've got to steward that well. If you look at Jesus, for example, he had a lot of relationships, a lot of people, and there's this big circle of people in the religious world that he interacted with, and then there's this, several hundred that it seemed like were the followers, however many, and then at that time before it blew up and got really big, and then there's this group of, I don't know, 18 or 20 or so that seem to be closer, that you hear these names more. And then there's 12 that were the closer. And then there's 3 within that, Peter, James, and John, that it seemed like he was the closest to. And then there was one, John, seemed like that he was the closest to. We can derive that in some different ways. And John's the one that actually wrote all of the passages about closeness and intimacy in friendship and relationships. So you got to ask, maybe it was closest to John because John had the greatest capacity to have that kind of friendship. So I want you to look at and steward your time and energy and think about, what are the relationships that I want to focus most deeply on and give them the most of your time and energy, or the best, or the first, or whatever. And then we have friendships at all sorts of different levels of closeness, and that's not a bad thing. Does that help?
Oh, that helps so much. Thank you so much for taking the time to go over this with me.
You're very welcome. Thank you for your call. Thank you for the encouragement about all those videos you've been watching.
Oh, they're amazing. I had to slow myself down because I'm running out of them.
Well, join boundaries.me.
So make more.
I have. You just got to go to boundaries.me. I'm serious. There's 60 something courses on there.
That's true. That's true.
Do that. Okay, Lily, thank you for your call. And hopefully I'll talk to you again sometime. This is the Dr. Cloud Show. We have run up against that clock again. I don't know how that keeps happening. It's another great week. It has been so cool to spend time with you guys this week. I wish we had a best of highlights reel where we could kind of play little clips. There's so many callers this week that just fly through my mind of it was fun. Some were painful, some were deep, but they all have meaning. And one of the things I love about this audience is that you guys approach life like it really, really, really matters and it really means something. And you also approach it realizing that I'm not going to get the full meaning out of this life if I don't engage it and find out how I've got to meet the demands of this life. One of my favorite sayings, an immature person asks life to meet his or her demands. A mature person meets the demands of life. And life shows up every day, guys. It knocks on our door. And life is a cornucopia, right, of all these incredible things. It's incredible things that are available in life and everything that God has designed life to be. And life shows up every day and it says, if you want to participate in me, I'm going to ask something of you today. I'm going to ask something of you. You got to meet that demand if you want to have the life that you want. We start off in the very beginning about one of those demands sometimes I might have to lean into a little fear. Life is asking me to meet that demand. It's demanding that if you want this, the goodness that's on the other side, I want you to step in I'm going to demand that you step in. Life is the drill sergeant is asking me to show up. Any relationship, it's going to put demands on you to show up. Have a hard conversation sometimes. Sacrifice. Deny yourself for the other stakeholder in the relationship. Might be something I really, really want, but because I love them and I want something better with them, I'm going to meet that demand. I'm going to die to my own interests, at least at this moment, for this thing. Or I might have to meet the demands of healing. You know, life is demanding that I maybe pick up the phone and call a counselor, or go join a support group or a recovery group or something. And it's asking me to show up. And that's what I love about this audience. That's how we started on this rant. Because you guys show up. You do. I see it on Facebook and other platforms. You show up and you share. I had that problem. I had to do this. This was hard for me. Try this. It's not going to be easy. We're supporting you. You say all that to each other, and it is so great to see you doing that. So anyway, I'm glad to end another week with you. After this, I hope to get some sleep. I've been up most of the night with a new puppy who doesn't like the crate, so she makes a lot of noise. But I had some boundaries, right? I didn't rescue her and let her howl, and finally she just cocked herself out a few times, and now she's kind of hanging out in the crate pretty well after one night of not giving in. Boundaries. Okay, go to boundaries.me and check it out. Become a subscriber and join all of this group of people that are going together. Take the show link, share it with your friends. If we continue to build an audience here, we will stay. All right. I'll see you guys on Monday, and I think we're at our regular time on Monday. Team, are we at our regular time on Monday? I think we are. Let's check that out. Looks like we are our regular time, I think. I'll see you then. Okay. Have a good weekend, guys.